loyalty to we sweet, sweet mama Salone. Now we all come together as one. For tomorrow, now we gon' make Salone.
Here we discussed the pros and the cons of this system.
Right.
But of course, it's now clear to all of us, especially the threshold that was used, almost 12%. The smaller parties, with all due respect to the other political parties, we see they could not survive. Even those that were in parliament before this time, the C4C, the NGC, they none not survive. It's just the traditional political parties, those that have been around for the longest time, that then survive. And now we see another dynamic in terms of the arrangement. Say, this other party will survive, the APC, they say, we are not joining them. And of course, they continue to entrench the divide, us versus them. We're not supposed to be so. Now a country we're supposed for they together. Of course, we need the opposition for make the democracy all water. We can talk about the word we can use as consolidation.
Right.
If you get a situation outside, you not get a formidable opposition, we go help for build what you call consensus. We go even give legitimacy to the government in programs them. My dear, we are in for serious problem.
Reverend, but the opposition self get their own contribution, checks and balances. Forget for they go through. When they be approved at 11.9%, we been get NGC and C4C in a parliament. We even get other opposition parties, them. We're not a parliament, but they're not put up much of a fight on the percentage. So why did they put up a fight on behalf of the direct victims, the other political parties here, because they hate for being called smaller?
Yes.
When they're not put up much of a fight?
That is very, very interesting, my dear. Temkinde, when somebody foresees something, we eventually will be inimical to you, but because you don't understand the situation fully, you are going to even put up a fight against the person where they try for help you for make you know say this not going for end well for you. But now for most of the time, you don't see the outcome until you get to it. Now we don't get to the bridge, and it's time to cross the bridge. We now realize the bridge faulty. But before now, they will tell you from where I had say, hey, don't use this direction. You are going to get stuck when you get to that particular point, because it means say you have to start all over again. And this is where we are now. But there is this expression: you can't cry over spilled milk. It's done. We even went to court. It was approved by the court to say that's the way to go. So next time, if we get such kind of debates, it's now clear as to whose kind of position people will take. Sometimes the people go even, they suggest, say, okay, let's reduce the quota. Because at least we see some difference with the councillors. Where, of course, even understand the number not too significant, apart from those same two parties again. Now, I think at Komon-Tok, they will see when ZPM this is survive and get one or two councillors. But the system is not producing the kind of results we expect. But like I said, we're not crying over spilled milk.
So not crying over spilled milk, and the system for produce the kind of results we want. After elections, we always get reports from different observers, different organizations as well on the electioneering process. But it seems when you read their reports and their course, almost all the elections, you go find some of the recommendations in them or issues where they pick up for be the same. it seems will take forever for take action on lessons learned. Is it important that we begin for consider these things now, or let we just left all things first for the settle and discuss this later, probably another 1 year or 2 years to the next election?
No, my dear, no. That's not a fine approach. In fact, at a recent engagement we will get as a commission, because we look at how this thing they go, we know say, they go fine. But we not hesitate for tell each other that truth date. So we call them Citizens Platform for Political Tolerance. That's a platform where we bring into existence around the 2018 electoral cycle. The one thing we will say when we set setting the pace for the discussion of that particular meeting, Mr. Sep presented a paper where I titled The Peace Imperative as a Dividend of Democracy in Sierra Leone. The one thing we submit to the people for discussion are that after them process here, it's fine for me to subject the process itself to some scrutiny, because one electoral cycle after the other, it is, for one moment, it is one group that complains. Another moment, another group takes up the complaint, and it is amplified further. So after every electoral cycle, the complaints do not end. Can we now, for a moment, make a tradition, say, let's investigate these processes? We'll not point finger at anybody, say anything, this person don't do this or don't do that. But of course, there are people who are raising such concern. So let's subject the process to an evaluation. We subject the process to an investigation, subject the process to a scrutiny. Look, the last term of President Bio, when he took over, he established commissions of inquiry for looking to corruption matters. This time, for me, the suggestion are that let us establish a commission of inquiry into our electoral process. What's really the happen, why things go the route and they go so that we one moment we stem all of the things that will create a lot of problems. We had, after the war, we had a TRC arrangement, and there's a TRC report where, of course, up till now, we're not able to implement everything. But can we now use this opportunity again, with all of the tension where they're around? Let's investigate certain things about the governance processes, so that there is also going to be a report, even if we don't even implement them. But we always make reference, say, we will find out that this thing go wrong, now this thing work right. And for every process, you always get that time where people reflect. And we need that moment of reflection as a nation, but this time, not to just private reflection or individual reflection. Let's make it a national endeavor. Who shall go for reflect on the governance process, especially the electoral process, for see what's work, what's not work, and how we improve the situation. And at the same time, interrogate the outcomes, so that who that they cry foul, who that say don't win, won't know the reality of the situation. For me, I feel say that's the way to go. We will save all of the hassle, all of the plenty tension where they happen after every election of the country.
With that said, Reverend, looking at the different parliaments we've had, many people always don't see what we've produced, always don't be a rubber stamp parliament. That the executive has always gotten its way through the parliaments that we don't get, whether not the first, the second, the third, the fourth, or the fifth parliament. And now with the current political situation in the country, well, potentially in the absence of another political party that should scrutinize, wherefore also provide checks and balances to the government, saying we're not going to participate. So it's perhaps we're going to see an extension of the executive in parliament if everything remains as it is right now without the APC's participation. What would that mean for governance in Sierra Leone?
You see, with all due respect to with members of parliament who don't get over the years, of course, it is the unpleasant reality that for almost 90% of the operations of the parliament, now for just endorse what in the executive they do. And we see in the fifth parliament, if there is any attempt for, call it deviation from that particular line there, we can see the tension came out in Parliament. But then we need for like do some education for make those who go to Parliament to represent us understand what in Parliament really they for. And interestingly, we own governance outfits what they use. Now the presidential type.
Right.
Although some people will tell you say some hybrid day. But now the presidential type we use, what means say the executive, the parliament itself, even the judiciary, they are co-equal. That you not get a situation where one will be superior to the other in terms of the operations. But it can always look like, say, the party within a power, the members of parliament feel, say, all they're supposed for doing for just toe the line of the executive, even where there is room for scrutiny, for check properly and say, let the right laws be enacted for the country. You go see people taking sides, even when it's clear as to how the law get for happen. Take for instance, by the time we the last parliament they end, then financial act then we will put into place. You ask yourself the question, these members of parliament, were they thinking about the people before they really passed that kind of law there? Or because the executive said that this we want, and the executive is also under pressure for fulfill certain conditions for make we continue forget the grants and the loans them, we just push them in, forgetting the implication we get forget. How you go take tax burden and put on more on the people there? And what's in the happen? Instead of we have an expansion of the business sector, we experience a shrink because of the kind laws the way they enact with parliament. Hey, our brothers and sisters who are representing us, they need to sit up. There's nothing wrong in telling Mr. President, with all due respect, we appreciate the fact, say, you won't forget this done. But let's take our time for examining the implications.
We can continue for still with we come to that at the back. Let me quickly introduce Dr. Charles Silva. Dr. Charles Silva currently the head the African Peer Review Mechanism in Salone, but also is a political scientist. We the lecturer at the University of Sierra Leone from a college, one of 3 constituent colleges of the university. Dr. Silva, good morning and welcome to Sierra Leone Decides.
Yeah, good morning and good morning, viewers.
You are sure say you don't follow the political drama, so to speak, na Salone. As a political scientist, from the perspective of political science, how you would describe the current situation from election, pre-election, election, and now the aftermath of the election itself?
Yeah, for me, it's really progressive. All the issues that they emerge, so that is what makes democracy a beautiful something. Before democracy, because some of the time, we therefore also make people then understand so that then they will make informed judgment. We all lab in the open, we will study politics, economics, or social sciences generally, the lab still open. What you get from know, why democracy? Before democracy, other arrangements that we don't do. Family, then when they listen, I all know say, what would they say democracy? Democracy is not just a political arrangement. There was a time in this country from 1978 where we passed the one-party constitution. We then pass it. We can go from 1991 now they begin say, no, you look like I say we therefore change things because we don't find out say the one-party constitution, we don't get. I mean, they do well at some point, but you don't reach a time now where perhaps it could be abused. Then we will all sit down, other people then help we left for pamper ourselves. Then we get from 1991, they formed the CRC, Constitutional Review Committee. Till 1996, we get election. That time then we don't register. For say we now are part of the democratic family. We don't join other democratic regimes then. The democratic way of doing things. Colonialism has been the colonial way of doing things. Slavery has been the slave way of doing things. This democratic way of doing things increases room now for maybe and say checks and balances, people then views, the consent of the people are things and that make when I call we are and that make them forums there don't exist. But when we get dictatorship, then same forums there have been exist. But then they behave in the dictatorial way because of a dictatorial regime. That make I can always tell people that let us not mistake government or administration for regime. Now, one great regime we get at this country, the same regime where the America, now India, democratic regime. The difference here is how the democratic institutions then they work, how we own the work, how much money we get for empower, and all of these things. Like when they talk about, why they listen to my colleague, Reverend, where they talk about the parliamentarians, they are doing all of this. They are products of society. Even in 2028, thereafter, now the product of society. The whole society then, so then people are then they behave. So like when they see, I feel say it's something progressive. It depends on where one is located. It better when they do them things there. I just like with former President Kabal, blessed memory, he say before we're not gonna call, or we're not going to tell we didn't where. So in this case as well, what would they do? All of them things there. You know, go like everything with the person they say.
Progressive, forgive me, Dr. Silva. Progressive in what sense?
Progressive in what sense?
Yes,
we are doing the issues there.
Let me put it. Let me put
Okay,
it
please,
into
sorry.
context. Let me put the question into context.
Yes, please.
Now, for many, una the experts there, don't they say democracy will get different models depending on the culture or the country where you want you go, whether this fits you and all of that. At some point, I had a conversation with the Minister of Commerce in China, and for democracy gets a convoluted thought or idea depending on society now. But as Salone, we always don't, since we parted ways with that dictatorial tendency to one-party state, and so okay, let's do multi-party democracy. Let's see how it works. We've had challenges, but many said, "Oh, our democracy is growing." Now, with what is happening, is this a way of saying, well, are we sliding back or are we progressing as you're still putting it? Because we're seeing outside multi-party pluralism is becoming a challenge in the regime.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I like that. What would they say then, even this democracy we they talk about, now because of the challenges then where the political leaders, then practitioners, then civil society, religious people, other thinkers, even the person where they not village, they think.
Right.
The difference between where the empires now where some of we get the ability now for talking a French, some man they talking a German, some man they talking a English. But if you go ask that woman and market the same thing where they tell you, it will tell you something with salient. Why make I say it progressive? Now then tell you no more just supposed to happen. Like all what they do so. Some of the products that we do now, if we are talking about press freedom today, we can sit on there. Some of we can go out of the way self with the talk so. Nobody know they go between. Now because of the lessons that we will learn from the 11-year-old war. Right. Nine don't born, then Nazis, NRA, first time I be income tax. We don't go through that. So why make us say a progressive? Would they hope say at the end of the day, let people continue talking. Let people air out their grievances. Some people, they wouldn't vex now for cry. You have to allow them to cry out their grievances. Some people, they can cause, although we get for this and small. Perhaps because I would just suggest, let me turn out to Willie man there, let the woman there smoke, let them say blue. So what would they try for, say, Mr. Bangura? Yes. It's all about us accepting that things have gone wrong. Right. And even then countries and what they admire, we keep talking about the Americans, we talk about the British, they get their own problems. But the institutions, they don't so strong to the extent that they absorb them. Me and you, they use the same road. If you vehicle strong past me, you vehicle in your own makeup is strong. It that road. Side where they push someone to carry and some man they just can't save through. So now that happen at some institutions then. I've been on the follow the event since this lab here opened, the political science lab. Yeah. So yes, if you make one question, you say models of democracy. Why may they bring that kind of model there? I've been listening something. Now something what they're saying now was up to me, which I love because it's been progressive. The Prime Minister of Singapore. In the even say, now one great formula he gets, we will share with people freely. He say MPH. He say M there for meritocracy. Yeah. The H is there for pragmatism. What is the work? Then the H is for honesty. You see, meritocracy is now elections are over. I can always tell people, and me not talk on again. The problem what they get with parliament with whatever, with selection pass, now we problem. With selection, now we problem. If we are really honest with ourselves, people then where would they elect into parliament? The ones that they appoint as ministers will not get too much leverage because that has to come from the head of state. But for the parliamentarians, we know that this country is a small country, not big like Nigeria, where you can come on one state, you go to another state. If me and you come on, you hype on me. If we not meet up na 38, we must meet up na Moramba Junction. If we go to na the north, we must meet up na Berry Junction, or as the case may be. So then thing that they did, but we know our people. So let we rethink the people that we need for win an election. The people then where we need for need an election. Not so they all we will need for the governance process. Governance process get for be fulfill people. That is to say, the greatest support you can give your party in power, your parliamentarian, now where they tell them the truth, constructively, politely, respectfully. He say, yes, sir. What you don't talk, Mr. President? What you don't talk, Mr. Honorable Minister, Mr. Parliamentarian, or Honorable Member of Parliament? I think say you're correct, but I also want to look at this side of it. Now that's the problem we'll get, and now them issues then they will discuss so now. I don't really want to go into the past because what you don't pass now, at the follow events, people are now talking about reconciliation. And when you want reconciliation, you know you not get for the scratch old wounds. Not so. Rwanda, what in there that this world we talk about tribalism, we talk about regionalism, what in past genocide? They don't accept say we went that bad route. The whole world frown on we shame ourselves. Let we recover that shame. They're not going to overcome 100%.
But what if we also do Rwanda, where you cite as an example as well? Rwanda may also take time out and deal with the issues, address them, put solutions, and move forward. You see, we as a country, they do much of that because
we are doing it.
There are issues here and there. Imagine we they deal with their issues and then before we they head for move forward.
No, we are doing it concurrently. We're not going to say, let us spare, we say, let us dedicate the whole of August, for instance. Say, we're not there for do nothing. The state has to function. A lot of other people, then what would they discuss, they border on them in different circumstances. Some of we perhaps now for we finish with fifth house. Not so. No, I said some people, they did for me, they finish the fifth house. Some man did for sending Peking in America. Some man saying that for me paying Peking in college fee. Some other people then they now for me then buy bonga this morning. So we are talking about that thing. This is another question where you ask if we serve the group. The Rwandan model, how they use them, now that's make we get even like the APRA, how they compare governance, architecture in different countries, the result. It not going to be the same thing. Because we can talk about political culture, even with attitude towards the politicians, could be quite different in Rwanda or Ghana or Guinea or even Liberia than here. Some of the time we get colleagues there. We now everybody we don't work now. Some of them don't qualify all over the world. What they can say, may they take foreign the ministers, for instance, for information. It is like only. Even now BBC for quite some time, not so. Ghana take her. We get people in Sierra Leone, yeah, they get positions that we didn't get because of their background, either as journalists, either as political scientists, either as economists and the like. So now that's not the thing. What in our selection? Because when they call you, for instance, if they call you madam, or they call me brother, Samuel White, for make you go now for serve in government in any capacity, either within or without, or if they say you're a press attaché, you get a value which a silver not get. That knowledge you get, it help you for make informed decisions. But many a time when it comes to, let's draw the line between electioneering and governance.
And with that, so
electioneering is propaganda, governance is reality.
Going back to Phoebe's question, Dr. Silva, the issue of reconciliation. Now, waiting, we all on the call for because we want a peaceful and a stable society. But how do we go about reconciling the state? And the set, for example, the habitat of hope, the beacon of hope, the courts, for example, we for provide redress. Now, the opposition appear for the describe that powerful as one way they pose threat to the democracy because they say they don't lost trust in them, they don't believe the people that we did it. So where do we draw the line? How do we reconcile and get our governance architecture to work in a way that befits this country?
Yeah, now that make people they can say democracy is a process. It a grow. You can measure it. What would they attend for do now? So now with the measure with democracy, whether, for instance, we can say whether it's a DP. The other way they make a relationship. Somebody can come up from Germany. The other person come up from Canada. They marry. They bring up children. They build a family coming from different backgrounds. But over the process, for them to consolidate that relationship, me and you two will not get the same values. Sometimes me, I grow up in a house where we will not get any internal urinary, I don't go. But you don't come up for and you go to frown at me. You go reach a time that we meet a balance. So we not get for the despondence. We are making progress. If not this talk number with the talk, why should they talk on radio, television, yeah, other people then they talk now in various programs, other people then they na WhatsApp on the internet. We also get some other people they where they do a lot of work along the scenes. But the only thing I'm possible when I get for be progressive in the sense that you get for learn from your lesson. Anything will happen to you. Me, anytime I face an embarrassing situation, I vex that moment, which is natural. But I they go back and me pillar, I ask her, I say, but what you yesterday, that feature with them feature me, that molest me in that place. I've been deserving. If you're honest with yourself, you say, yes, in a way, I think say I deserve. I was so flippant. I don't even know the people then. I know some people think that they talk about, I just jump in there. That they tell me, say, next time, when you come into a conversation, you get first, you don't know side the conversation, how the conversation they go, so that your contribution will be apart with others. So all routine making say, we don't go, we don't come. All routine we need a reconciliation. We either do it now or we do it thereafter.
You say, just forgive me quickly. You say we need for deepen with democracy. I mean, like every other set of governance structure or style. But how do we deepen this democracy now? When there is a current quagmire, the opposition is saying we're not going to participate in any form of governance. Parliament provides scrutiny for the executive. Parliament provides checks and balances. If they're not going to Parliament, it will be a problem. There are councils across the country, districts where they don't elect APC people for the chairpersons, mayors, councillors. If they do not participate in that form of local governance, what would it mean for the democracy we want for deepen and the development we want for advance?
Thank you very much. Let me just make some clarifications here as well. We get a major opposition based on the number of seats where they don't win a parliament and that kind of thing.
Right.
But the APC is not the only opposition. All political parties will contest this election. We don't win. They are all part of the opposition. Let me now reduce this discussion to APC, SFPP affair. This thing is no longer about Dr. Samora. It is a national affair.
But the practice has always been
it has always been, and it has always been wrong.
Okay.
Now we call things by their right name. You can only say, me get 1 million votes. You get 5 votes. But those 5 votes, sometimes, in fact, if we get means for measure in terms of quality, some opposition, then they not even get this threshold for sending somebody in a parliament. But then get a woman, then get a man, that opposition, that small opposition, we can say they small one day, based on we own judgment. But for me, nobody not small. No fish not small at the sea. They are all on the same seas, they are swimming. So what he made a try for say in the first instance, Mr. Alina, they know. With all due respect, there is no way we will resolve this matter without reference to the All People's Congress, because they are a major stakeholder in all of this. Like we already continue for so talk to them, made them see reason, made them look at a bigger picture. Where you had one, it is cool one day. So now that, but let me draw that line there, because let me also know that it's like we are only talking about APC and SFPP. This has to do with you, myself, and everybody. Let we all take it as a national issue. Let we avoid blame. Let we know who's how we sleep, so that at the end of the day, when they just settle, you know, go settle all together. Plaba can't like sickness. What if they happen so on a plaba? All what will they try for do? That plaba get for continue as long as democracy say parties then get for compete. The plaba will range from party to party based on the level, the degree of stake where they get. And so all what thing we can say, let we manage it well, let we treat it as a national issue.
And for treat this as a national issue, I'll come back to Reverend Kagbo. The elephant in the room, obviously, now the APC disagreement with the election results. The decision say they're not going to challenge an accord, but they abstain from participation. But if you go back in time, the history to this is from 2012. Even President Biona will get issues with the election results in being challenged through the courts. But we find ourselves in a situation where the main opposition always they get issues. Mostly they get issues with the election results. Now they say reconciliation. How do you think say we go able to move forward as a country without we not suppress the underlying issues where they keep coming back up? How will they move forward as a country addressing them?
My dear, I just suggested or proposed something, say, apart from the aspect of tension arising out of the outcomes of elections, may we learn for the scrutinized with governance processes. Because of the way things they happen now, me go make bold and suggest to His Excellency, say, sir, last time you had the commissions of inquiry for investigating things and that you've been concerned. This time again, GUI, whatever it is we call them, what we investigate with governance process, especially electoral process, that's it now. When we get neutral people for CAM, the concerns where APC gets, the concern where this other person gets, we look into them. The outcome of such investigation will lay some of the issues and they to rest. They say that they're going to court. Well, for me, I not subscribe to that.
So who that will be the best person or best set of people where, again, with politicians, they get trust issues.
Of
if
course.
You talk to a sweet APC, SLPP, they say you're APC.
So
if you talk to a sweet SLPP, APC, they tell you say you're SLPP.
Waiting we for
to a point where they don't drag them to international.
Waiting we for land for
Hold on, Reverend. They don't drag them to members of the international community.
Agreed.
The European Union head don't get you. British High Commissioner instead don't get you. Who that go be the right person?
My dear, no matter. In fact, there is one expression in Creole. They say, "Oh, tight say, fall must get outside go lay egg." One thing we say to we all, even within this country, be consistent with the truth. They may call you names. Me was so. When APC was in power and I was raising the issues, do you know what the then opposition was saying? Not because na Reverend, they talk through. But when SSB in power, so they raise the issue then because I have another name, they are connecting me to APC. But do I care about that? My conscience tells me that what I am saying or doing is correct, and I move on with it. I don't owe anybody any apology for talk through. As long as that is true, I'll continue to say it. And that is the attitude I appeal for from every Sierra Leonean, and even outsiders where they come for do whatever it is, mediation, arbitration, and come for negotiate. Let us maintain a consistent point of view where they're in line with the truth.
But even your consistency, I not say you now as an individual, but even your consistency, self, they be looked the other way.
Agreed, but
take new for example, from time immemorial when they observe elections, they come back with issues. All of a sudden now, Marcela Samba don't become a scapegoat, and the issues when you raise, failing for realize say from previous elections, then we always consistent, always they at ECSL well formerly neck the neck. For C say okay, no, we for you. With the say this not right, this right. But even your consistency becomes a problem. Then you don't say panda red term, that's what you say. Even this green term, you consistent, that's what you say. You become a scapegoat.
My dear, every effort for scapegoatize the truth will always fail. At the end of the day, no matter what you do, we will get back to that point where we will say, oh yes, you've been talking. And as long as you are steadfast, and it's not the lie, it is the truth. Hold on to it. We don't do a lot of analysis. Say the position of new has not changed from time immemorial. They've always done this, and in fact, the last 10, they gave several instructions to even the police as to what they're supposed to do for avoid or stave off tension. Today, if they come under attack for doing the same thing, let them hold on to their courage and stick to the truth. When you tell lie, now you get a lot of talking for do. But when you tell true, you talk not plenty. Now time now go exonerate you. And now in the happen of the country, so time will exonerate the one that will stand on the side of truth. Make you always appeal, say, in running a country, we all get a stake, but let us don't be on the wrong side of history. Things have happened. If you just dismiss the concerns with a wave of the hand, you are not ready to solve the problems of this country. But of course, life has to go on. Let's have that as a common starting point. Life has to go on. We are not going to stop governance because person don't raise the concern. But let's also look for ways and means how we can address those concerns. For me, my suggestion is let's have a national structure that we can establish. We've done it in the past. We can still do it this time. I have a national structure that we establish that will bring in people. You may not have, you see, for past exam, the highest mark now 100%, but you can still get A with 70%. So you still have some people within and without this country where people go say, okay, if they put them for can do this thing, and we will manage accept. So in fact, the word acceptance, the inside it, whether you manage for acceptor or not, as long as you accept it, okay, let's move on with this process and let's get our problem solved. For me, that's the way to go. We have a crisis in the country. Let us don't avoid that reality. Let us look for ways and means how we can come together. We at the National Commission for Democracy, through the Citizens Platform for Political Tolerance, we don't try, but it's still challenging for APC, SLP for come around the same table for discuss issues. But we know the relent.
So if dialogue is not working, I mean, especially getting the two giant players in the room to negotiate, to dialogue, to have an understanding, and strike compromise for move Salone go before. Where is the hope?
Now, you see, even when change ready for a call, resistance the day.
Right.
The fact that resistance not the day, not means we will give up. Hey, now us, people and family members and the feds, then the feds to the point where you go feel say, this one in consideration of the day. But after some time, this one pulling string, then they pulling string, you go see those same two people, they come together and say, okay, now for you no more, for you sake no more. What they can say? Now for you sake, if I want to be talk, I make a come. If na somebody no more minutes, so cannot for come, but at least he come. Right. Dr. Silva will say, now when somebody talk, let make myself come. If I be no more, but at least we come. We they talk to each other. Now so we go do and say finally one day.
Who should be those players now? Because now it's all like well, embassy in so everybody Salone are suspects. It's a religious council.
Agreed.
So
you see, yesterday I was on IRN. They said to people what they talk say, no matter what happen, APC not for the good thing they do so. I said some people go even ready for cost me more back. But the mammy cost, don't ever move any nation forward. The invectives, the bad word, the hate speech, not ever move any nation forward. Rather, in fact, now inflame the nations than they. So we still appeal to we brothers and sisters. We get whatever tension, we get whatever problem with what they happen, say, but we see reason. And we'll still talk. In fact, without downplaying the effects of what they do, because it will lead me back to that. We fought for close to 11 years. We still sit down and talk. So the one where they happen so, yes, it negative, but you know reach that point there. More not allow for making reach that point there. More we still find ways and means how we go talk. And what will they talk? Now on the premise that we agree say challenges the day. Because for when you come for talk to somebody, you don't dismiss the person in position already. Why are you coming to talk to the person? Let's have that as a starting point. More we not shy away from the reality, the truth in the country, more we still find ways for come together. You ask, who are the people who are going to lead this thing? Mm-hmm. For me, sounding very optimistic, these two people are still going to church. Another one day you say, President Biodomi service or Samuel Kamarodomi service, then they go to the same church. Sometimes they not even go church service, sometimes they get other engagement somewhere else. But they go to the same church. That is a starting point. We have an entry point already. Not to like say we look at people and we this one a day from that, a day later than they go by other. Then they go Sunday, when then they go mass. Then they go together. Then they even shake hand at mass. So we are
out of formality and courtesy.
Call them formality and courtesy. At least they still do them. Those symbolisms are still they're even good. Because the fact say we'll not get to the point to say then go meet the public and not shake and we'll not get to that point. We still get hope say something can happen. Let's still talk to the Catholic Church. There are other religious leaders we can come and team up with the Catholic Church, right? Because we have a common ground already. Let's talk. Of course, I agree with Dr. Silva when he said it's not just about APC and SLPP, but you always get people away Now the Agbagba, any problem will they happen. The others will come around. They are forming alliances, and all of the alliances that have been formed, it is either they get the alliance to SLPP or they get the alliance to APC. So when you bring those two big players together, they are ready to talk. The other people who are forming the alliances, they will come together.
We'll just follow. All right, continue for Stay With Me. Let me just quickly remind we viewers and we listeners them, where they watch and listen and also follow me on social media this morning that at 10 or before 10, we'll get for a link with the live team now Parliament na Tower Hill. Because today, we expect the members of Parliament to subscribe to the oath and then elect a new speaker. Now the 6th Parliament. We will bring that live to us shortly. But we still get Dr. Charles Silva and Reverend Jubila Kabu. Dr. Silva, with all within the go on and the things they put forward, the arguments they would on the advance as to how we should reconcile, as to how we should try to deepen or consolidate our democracy, our peace, the political stability of our state. At this point, what's not attracts them now, specifically we need for lay, so that we get a functioning state, a state where politicians or political parties not the old hostage.
Thank you very much, Samuel. You see, let's get into the streets.
Right.
Every democracy or every arrangement, including AYV here, you guys are moving from strength to strength because we have the respect we have structures. You see, as we try for reconcile, we try for get back to who side we're supposed to do, embark on development, let's call things by their right names. At the end of it all, when we talk about civil society, journalists are part of it, students, religious people, now we all form civil society, except that we activism vary from institution to institution. Let me get one thing straight, something don't come as glaring. Let me not hype on it. But now, because we are talking about reconciliation, but before I go there, if we are not attacking the people, they talk, then they attack this person because of what he said. They are not attacking people. They are querying. Now we use the word query. Then they question some people, their attitude, their actions. Is it timely? Is it appropriate? I've been a teacher, a lecturer to be precise, for the past 20 years. Right. There is an examination office. When me mark, there is a head of department where they go through dean and all the rest of it. Even when I get presenters, when I get structures, somebody they when I get for make that alteration. There are times if me, when I'm the teacher and I mean the teach that subject, not me. But me not get the authority for pronounce exams, result or publish. Right. I know we can over the air or I put on a forum, they say the students they all don't know. In case something happens along the line where you say there are amendments to make. Now it happen, me I not call name now. One of the greatest things we all get for learn from this, let we know with limits. The structures then, they might not be good. Some of the time, we they take the individual for the structure. Ambassador Nabo is the founder and everybody, now the proprietor, and I get here and I create this forum where we all do. Sure. But you also rely on some of Funa, which is why even when he's out of country, things go on. But I think say some of the time we can overstep with boundaries. And we all don't learn. We all can overstep with boundaries. Even when we say don't have some talk, they will go talk. People they will pull out from me, which is why I'm very careful. I choose my words. Not attack the institution. Attack, say, Dr. Silva, Phoebe, Samuel. They always been carried that program and not be elected. But you know, go down the whole of AIV just because of Samuel, which is what we are doing to our institutions. We have many more good police officers. We have many more good parliamentarians. We have many more good ministers, good civil society activists, good civil society supporters of the APC, good supporters of the SLPP and all other political parties. But why are we almost always focusing on the bad things? Why are we almost focusing on the bad things? There are a lot of good things about us. Why make a talk so for all we work in talk in favor on behalf of institutions like Midenaya, I talk as a scholar, I talk as APRN, but more also now my scholarship they govern me now also there. Now my scholarship they govern me. That is to say what you are for say and what you are not for say. This thing what they call true. True already in the exact sciences, but human relationship true not day. What it be true for 2018? A lot of things don't happen. The social media, we don't become a very major stakeholder in our body politic, particularly in Sierra Leone. Because while they watch Nigeria and social media, while they go YouTube, Instagram, Nigeria, they are marketing, they are movies, they are doing whatever. But we don't engage with the worst with dirty leanings there. We left with institutions there. If somebody know they perform well an institution, the ones that they put on the, we need whistleblowers for say, oh, Chasiva, when I don't put it, look like saying the wrong person. Then he pull me, they tell me what that's how they even get rid of me and bring somebody else. So that's how they, as then they go for reconcile this matter, by the grace of God, we go must get that middle ground. May everybody know in level. If you're a police officer,
do we need trust in all of this? I ask because looking at what we've witnessed over time, Samuel may be suspicious of Fabian. Since Samuel and SLPP, I'm suspicious of Fabian being APC within the same institution. Reverend Imboss might be suspicious of Reverend being, if Imboss belong or they sympathize with any side, suspicious of Reverend, say Reverend in the other side. So even when it comes to institutional arrangements, it's a crisis that everybody get for be suspicious of one another. That's the politics and how we've reduced ourselves as a nation, as a people, and even as professionals. Where do we build trust that when we get with leaders then, we the followers, we the general citizenry, we're able to understand, say, you can belong wherever you belong. You can sympathize with whatever color or party you want to sympathize with. But there's that thing when you're given a task to perform and you know there are guidelines, there are rules to the performance of that contract or that task, and you have to follow that professionally. Where do we get trust and kill confidence?
Well, I end up having the try for tough. In the first instance, you forget with selection. When you are really on top of what you are doing, suspicion not they come in. But again, let us not forget, say, we really talk about power relations when I in the government, everything I have. If they decide now, they don't say the position is established by the management of AYV. That position, they above what the positions they now want to all occupy. A new position don't come wait perhaps at the top. That suspicion they get for count to the extent that if Samuel dress the way we can dress fine, so or Phoebe dress anyway, they will say for where they say this position they can't do the way they dress. That is suspicion at that lower level. But at the political level, it takes a different dimension. Power relations day. The only thing where they bring where they reduce suspicion. Now any society, even in any relationship. Now when you feel say you partner, in this case, all of us are partners in the development of Sierra Leone. That one nobody not will talk against. You ask APC, you ask SLPP, all political parties, and say we all want to see a better Sierra Leone. What would they struggle with so now the strategy? That in where it says suspicion, they make people they feel insecure on their jobs. You don't then now you feel say, this me immediate supervisor, and a person will not let me business, you always try to discredit me. You don't do your best. Sometimes even what you want for do and you tremble. The only way we can do that for be trust, Kenya. You go for make that man who says certain incidents in the day where somebody they do to you, you feel say this is my worst enemy. At some point again, if they treat you some kind of way, you go say it looks like be make mistake. This is just the basic thing.
But beyond that, Doc,
yes,
even with the politics, the way we fan the flames of politics, as Samuel rightly put the example, you get people who are affiliated to politicians or find themselves deeper in political systems, but get jobs in various sectors or all walks of life. Then when they can find favor, say something, me they support party, RCB, okay, commercial bank. And then I want the head of or the people who are they in touch with, let them see me like a valuable asset. Sometimes I go in a meeting with Samuel. Samuel actually talked to him, it makes sense, we're genuine, but I know they're in favor of RCB. But what thing is saying, a sensible thing we're good for Salone. Me, they take and I go meet the head of RCB. That's Samuel, they will see. So in order for an idea against Tuna. Now, so and so thing, he can say, oh, they didn't a meeting at this. And what thing he go don't say. Sometimes even me aware, I say, genuinely, now good thing he talk. And not they in favor of waiting support, but a good thing, good for the country. But I will use them for go set them up just for let me find favor. And we tend to do that a lot as a country, from the civil service now to the media to CSOs. It happens across.
Thank you very much, Phoebe. Now one great solution depend on this, which is why making talk and so then family then some family then you can see brothers and sisters, biological brothers and sisters from the one mama one daddy. Then today some side and password have been tell you say they want the way they see so now one green bobby and sock. Because the level of dependence on themselves don't reduce drastically. Let us not forget. President we talk one thing. That time the way the enforced speech we make after pronouncement of results, you say let we change gear. Me don't they try for change me room gear. When I said AYV, I make when I say don't change gear, now we talk to you. Try now English with the blow grammar, now when they struggle with her. If you they struggle for pass on information, what do you want way they talk to? When I don't change gear, make everybody change gear. That only gear we need for change. If I can perhaps what you may understand from what the president say, how we will make sure say all man go together in one breed na money. We go rub out a day if na sardine or if na palmite say because nothing we me like where they put that palmite that red one inside bread and letter. If everybody go do so, whether they eat your chicken or they make all this so they not only economic development will change this here. Let us not forget because resources are limited. People then they use strategies. Some people then they say they will not agree or they will agree. They not agree because they know say we for agree. Then they accept, then they ask me for agree because they know say when we agree, then we benefit from that. No system is rotten. That system, what would they describe as a rotten system? People then they benefit from that rottenness. And why they try for challenge that status quo? Now they're saying people the way they meet. If this place here, they all man just they do what you want. So when they come out, you say no, nobody know for make here. What you want to do so, now so if you do, you don't become a target. There is nothing more difficult for doing at the world than introducing a new way of doing things. What is Sierra Leone they face so now? We are facing the challenges of modernization. 2007, not all man they get phone, but now a good number of Sierra Leoneans, particularly at the urban centers, they get phone. Some information and the way they take place in Sierra Leone, some accidents can occur or some issues and they happen. They get them from friends and really colleagues then from England or America, then thing then they. So we get all of this. This issue where they talk about suspicion. The only way we will change that a bit, the only remedy, let we respect the structure. You don't need to like the president, but recognize and cooperate with the presidency as an institution. You don't need for like AYV, but respect the institution. We don't need for like we say, we don't need for like with parliamentarians then per se.
Dr. Silva, continue for deal with we. We're able to establish link with Honorable Mohammed Bangura from Kaine District. We a member of the opposition All People's Congress Party and the only member we no agree for sign the endorsement or endorse the party in position. We say let them not participate or go na parliament. Honorable Mohammed Bangura, good morning and plenty thank you for we you decide for joining with this morning.
Good morning, Sammy. Good morning, Radio EYV and television.
Thank you. First of all, let me able to understand why you decide not to follow your party in position. We still not go na parliament or participate in any form of governance until the demands that we the party make are met.
Not because I not follow the party, I refuse to follow the party position. The party gets some legitimate concern with the SFP government need to address. But bear in mind that I am a member of parliament. And a member of parliament, we are different from the executive. Our own job and duty is to sit in parliament and make laws. Then our job, three rules we get. And if that's our job, it has nothing to do with the executive. That is the president. We are not employed by him. He cannot fire me. Past 5 years done. I'm answerable not to run as president of this country. I'm answerable to the people of this country. So because of that, as he say, now I have a constitutional mandate to perform as a member of parliament. Naimika say, no, today I will go take the oath of office. Especially so, Sammy, we're taking the oath of office not to in any way near pursue in the work with the government of the day.
So what if at the end of the day you party come and say, Honorable Mohammed Bangura, you don't go against waiting we they say. And there is 77(1) of the Constitution. We always do the threaten some serious politicians, especially una with the gonna parliament. What's in go be your defense to the party?
I tell you, Sammy, me no like for operate for look at the future. I deal with what is happening now. If the party do decide for take that road, in which I strongly doubt or say them will take that role, because in the APC, you have liberal-minded people there, Boku, liberal-minded people there. We go sit down and say, more check the decision of Honorable Bame Bangura made. It's not the right decision or not the wrong decision. Like any other countries, they operate. Like you go to the US, that's it, they happen. You know that, Sammy. The party they say this, the people like say, the other members they say, no, this is not right, or that is right. But should in case they take that decision no more, I never. We come tomorrow, I deal with them tomorrow. But for now, no, I am going to Parliament to subscribe to the oath of office and stay as a member of Parliament.
Is this a way of calling on other
in a one-to-one interaction? I don't tell them if we disagree or we agree, me they go to Parliament. And it is right for all of us to go take the oath of office. It is just the oath. The business of Parliament, you know, be here, like scrutinizing bill, appoint confirmation of government appointees and other things. Then we go take the oath. I call on all my colleagues again. For men and go take the oath. After we take the oath, we can left and can decide which is the next line of action.
So what do you think say now need for be done? You think say the party need for listen to you call, say, okay, I know that we know they disobey waiting the party don't say, but let we go subscribe to the oath, answer to the call of the people where they don't elect to as members of parliament. Then we'll come back and sit down and strategize what and how we need for go about addressing them concerns here where we get as a party.
Sammy, I believe say there is a lot way we can do at this particular point in time. I know say the party is aggrieved, angered because of what happened at the elections. So many things are not right during these elections. So many things are right. The party don't take them up. But taking the issue up, not to one grade thing, not to 2 days, not to 1 week, not to 2 weeks. We have to challenge the SLPP government on some of the issues they need. Allow the members of parliament to go take the oath of office. We come back and can strategize so now. Many a time, where at the talk na APC, people do not believe or not they take it serious, or they know say this is the serious thing Mohammed talk, but they ignore them because they're afraid for say, if we have say this, they will cause we in social media, people will cause we, and people will say this, they will say that. But you know what? Me not afraid at all. Them bashing it. As you know, the whole week, I mean, they bash on social media. But me no say the right thing now I do. Let us go take the oath of office and strategize on this issue. That is the only way out. This country, what it need at this point in time, it don't need radicals. It don't need overzealous people there. It needs people who are level-headed, calm, and think rationally. What you will need at this point in time is dialogue.
You go say to people that we go to feel say, Honorable Mohammed Bangu, I don't sell out.
I am not a sellout, but should the case they hold that to view, I want to remind them for say, me are the person who don't suffer most under the hands of the SLPP government. In parliament, I was beaten and dragged out of parliament 2018. Shortly after that, they pulled honorable members them. I stood, I demonstrated, I go in a party office, police then can then fire tear gas, all man run away in a party office, all man not desert a party office, meet on the snap day, together alongside with Una, for over 1 hour, we dey shock the tear gas and prevent the police from burning or from attacking the party office. After that, they arrest me and carry me to the CID. They lock me up at CID. They left me. The following day, they go arrest me in the parliament. Once in the history, for let police go to the well of parliament and then go pull me, they can't lock me up. Lastly, Sarabe do good. Now, 5 day nights, 3 honorables, Dr. Samuel Kamara and Yansane, now we they indict. They put a warrant of arrest for. After a long period of time, they left them for the day. That means 1 day, they go arrest and charge. I spent 22 days of incommunicado na prison, both CID and Padema Road prison. We motoka after they talk so to you, the OLA. Now CID at the court at the affair courts this morning before I go parliament. So if you feel say somebody don't go through all that, for the simple fact is stand up for the truth. You say sell out. Our men think twice. Our men think twice. For say, I not be sell out. I not be sell out for no reason. Me not possibly believe on the political ideologies.
Thank you very much.
Nothing not go change that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mohammed Bangura, for we took your time for speak to we that this morning. Phoebe?
Well, we will just head straight to Parliament now and join we colleagues today, Amadou Lamganaba and the team in Parliament. We will just go to them briefly for get a preamble for see waiting at the atmosphere like right now as now 10 o'clock. The ceremony is supposed for start for the oath taking of the elected members of the 6th Parliament. We still get Dr. Charles Silva with me at the studio and Reverend Jubila Kagbo, but we'll cancel them later local Parliament now and join Amadou Lamganaba and the team there.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We will come right back.
With the AfriCell 4G MiFi, you are always connected to the internet in Sierra Leone. You can connect up to 10 devices. It is portable, sleek, and easy to carry with long-lasting batteries. You can subscribe for unlimited internet for 30 days with the speed of your choice. 3, 6, or 10 megabits per second. Rush now to any AfriCell POS nationwide and grab the AfriCell 4G MiFi for only 400 new leones and get 7 GB free, valid for 30 days. To subscribe to the unlimited data bundles or the Ladida MiFi bundles, dial *114# or *161#. For more information, call 111.
Every day, the world wakes up to you. Millions of people are getting ready for you. For shopping, travel expenses, utility bills, trade, and commerce. If we all have wishes, then what is your financial transaction wish?
I'd like to have a choice.
I'd like convenience.
I'd like to pay for goods and services on the go.
I'd like to pay utility bills on the go. Out of credit and data, buy some mobile top-up, still on my phone. Oops, lights out. I'll buy some EPSA, still on my phone.
I'd like to make payment from my account to another account through my mobile phone.
As a chef for company, I would like my staff to receive their salaries through bulk e-payment without the risk of transporting cash.
Rokel Commercial Bank Simcopo does it all.
Rokel Commercial Bank Simcopo. Think of it as
Money when you're close to home and when you're away from home for unexpected expenses, and money for those times when cash fails.
If you can dream it, you can become it. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it.
Rokel Commercial Bank Simcopo is all you need.
With the AfriCell 4G MiFi, you are always connected to the internet in Sierra Leone. You can connect up to 10 devices. It is portable, sleek, and easy to carry with long-lasting batteries. You can subscribe for unlimited internet for 30 days with the speed of your choice. 3, 6, or 10 megabits per second. Rush now to any AfriCell POS nationwide and grab the AfriCell 4G MiFi for only 400 new leones and get 7 GB free, valid for 30 days. To subscribe to the unlimited data bundles or the Ladida MiFi bundles, dial *114# or *161#. For more information, call 111.
All right, welcome back. Thank you very much for what you did with me through that break. This is now a special edition of Wake Up Sierra Leone. The SL Decides updates, they continue now AYV television and radio. And at 10 o'clock today, the ceremony for starting a parliament for the elected members of parliament, the 6th parliament, for will take oath. For make them start them work for represent them people them. But just before we head to the team now parliament, they now forget a feel of waiting the atmosphere they like ahead of the 10 o'clock where the ceremony for start. President of the Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone being pulled a statement yesterday. But before we go to that statement, they will check back if we don't get Amadou Lamranaba on the connection from Parliament. Amadou, good morning.
From the Sierra Leone People's Party, the Eastern, region, Kailaun to be specific. Now the second time this way he come now Parliament. He been the Parliament. Are you going to introduce yourself, ma? You talk to AYV.
Me na Honorable Nene Levy.
Okay, Honorable Nene Levy, Lord talk to the camera. I don't dare you listen. It is a pleasure meeting you as well. What's a mean, for then a Parliament today, and you can take the oath of office for serve you people.
Thank you. You don't talk saying that for me. I can't serve me people them. And where I don't take oath today, a memorable day because that's they really qualify me for get a seat at Parliament, and that they qualify me for represent me people there. So therefore, I'm really happy today. Today is a very happy day for me. My relatives, they're all there for me to grace this occasion.
We get women there, more women in this 6th parliament than previous parliaments. What does this mean for you as a woman and women them of this country?
Thank you very much. It means a lot because some of us, we have been in this fight for too long. We started this fight so many years back. For me, I started this fight since 2004 when I was in the Bo City Council because I represented my people in the Bo City Council. So like today, a happy ma'am with they produce good results. When I go for see this parliament is going to be very interesting because you now have more women. We are more than 40 in number, which is great. And we'll work in the interest of our people.
That's an assurance from Honorable Nene Levy that people will expect say the woman them we can at this 6th parliament. Therefore, work in the interest of women. Then let me talk to another woman. We get another female member of parliament. Honorable, I think I can call you honorable, even though you not take the oath yet. But
hello.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much.
Ali.
Yes, you can please introduce yourself.
Me na Honorable Alice Chebe Kumabe from Bounty District.
Okay. Honorable Kumabe, I understand say Bondi City get more women where they serve na elected positions. What in this mean for you as a woman, and women then at this country?
I they feel delighted where they see me come to woman and they come up na elective and positions them.
Okay, we apologize for that connection challenge there, but we go get for link with Parliament much later, and obviously we go broadcast live the oath-taking process of the elected members of the 6th Parliament. But the President of the Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone, Archbishop Edward Tamba Charles, will say the council currently they in touch with key stakeholders them on all the outstanding issues them way relate to the electioneering process, transparency and accountability, victimization of political opponents, loss of lives and destruction of property them, and among other things them we go on. Assure the public say then involve in an ongoing dialogue where they try to talk to all the parties involved for make them able for collaborate and put their efforts then together for promote peace and national cohesion. Let we get the video of when they make this statement.
Before, during, and after the June 24 general elections, with various election management bodies, national and international stakeholders, and partners to safeguard national peace and unity in the country. The Council is pleased to note that with the exception of some reported incidents of politically related violence, hate speech, the overall situation of the electioneering process was relatively peaceful, free, and fair. However, the IRCSL wishes to note that certain grievances and complaints have been made during the electioneering process with regard to issues of transparency and accountability, victimization of political opponents, loss of lives and destruction of properties, which are currently under discussion in order to find amicable solutions. While active engagements are being initiated with key stakeholders to resolve all outstanding issues related to the electioneering process, the IRCSL would like to kindly appeal to all of us to be peaceful, compassionate, and law-abiding. Our nation's resolve and commitment to safeguard the peace, unity, and social cohesion is being tested again, and we cannot afford to betray our spiritual beliefs and traditional values of friendship, good neighborliness, and compassion, which constitute the real assets of our nation. I thank you all for your attention, and I pray that God, Allah, may bless our nation.
All right, that now be the president for the Interreligious Council of Salone, Bishop Tamba Charles. They make that statement. They talk about how collaboratively then they work for ensure then keep the dialogue going for solve all ongoing problems in the electoral landscape. Now, Member of Parliament for Pujeon District, we also double as the ECOWAS Speaker, Honorable Mohamed Sidi Tunis, where the teams as one of the contenders for the speakership race now the 6th Parliament. Don't even say this party when at the SLPP don't decide say the Honorable Dr. Abbas Chernobundu will continue for serve as speaker for 2 more years. And Honorable Tunis being revealed this inside one live interview during the orientation ceremony where Parliament hold for members them would them the elect for go now the 6th Parliament. And he also encourage other MPs them for representing people well and serve the interest of the country.
SLPP na family business Wikindepam. I get the ambition for be speaker. Yes. But once the party don't talk, say they'll go this direction, another direction where they go. Last night, as a party, we don't decide for give the current speaker 2 more years. So my ambition will only come after 2 years. We have our colleagues we don't can join we from the APC, SLPP, and I want to assure every one of them for say me being the most senior member of parliament, having entered parliament in 2002. I assure all of them will say, this is the place to be. Once you don't enter here, do your level best for put party business, now do small, and put the country first.
Percentage. And we, the SLPP, female parliamentarian, we're gonna make sure we bring quality, and we're gonna make a lot of changes. We're gonna show that women, we are smarter, we are stronger, and we are powerful.
To be here, it's I have always looked forward to being here because I want to serve my people, and being part of the 6th Parliament, I know it's quite challenging, but I'm open to it, and I want to make the mark because we want to continue to consolidate the gains that His Excellency the President has already made, and that's why we are here to help him, continue with the development for the people of Sierra Leone, and also I'm here, for adequate and proper representation of my people of Gambia.
Well, I think the 5th Parliament set a very high bar to some point. So I think we just need to emulate the very good examples of the 5th Parliament and try to make sure that we do more.
Anymore, I not get for be hesitant anymore, because I was they try for play, balance rule, one for please, the other way around, and actually say things and call things by their names. Now I know Usa Ade, and I feel that I are in a very comfortable place. Then I will speak my mind, and believe me, I will do a better job this time around.
All right. That's now be few members of parliament. They make their statements and the expectation from the 6th Parliament. But what's very clear now that the person will also be get interest for vie for the speakership. Don't say the party don't meet and they don't endorse Honorable Cherno Abbas Bundu for continue for be the speaker for the next 2 years. And so, but it will still get to go through the process after we declare, we don't declare the seat vacant for make them re-elect him as a speaker. Reverend, this is apparently the 6th Parliament. The 5th Parliament electing Honorable Dr. Cherno Abbas Bundu been lead to fist fights and police go into the house, drag some members out. But now the members will be then at that party, they say they're not they go at this parliament. So you can go for left now with the SLPP and the Paramount Chiefs. But also if the SLPP gets 81 seats, and the Paramount Chiefs are thinking about 14 or so. Now women say, give or take, they still need about 5 people, forget a 2/3 majority for elect a speaker. But we get the director of public relations and communications here yesterday from Parliament, where clearly, according to the provisions in section 79, subsection 2 of the 1991 Constitution, where it says if they make 3 attempts and they're not able to get 2/3, they'll go by simple majority, forget the speakership. And if not just the SLPP and the Paramount Chiefs, it means say, Dr. Abbas Bundu will therefore be the Speaker of Parliament again for the next 2 years. And then the party will go into another arrangement for see how waiting will happen, whether Honorable City Tunis go can take over. As you say, it's a bigger interest, but they don't meet as a family and make that decision. Waiting this mean for Salone democracy.
Well, number one, I would say politics simply means a person forgets that power for lobby. We will negotiate. We use our differences, they want to talk about them, and then we will arrive at a solution. That's now we understand as politics where Professor Silva also will tell you, say, now they read the book them. So not so we not look at the situation we say fit for commodity because somebody wants position. But I don't think, of course, you only see they happen in different areas. But it's a fine thing for sure, leadership and maturity. When one thing and the way I want for bringing into this discussion. For most of the time, the tension that we get in our country, now some deficit in leadership. And now some man for rise to the occasion and show say then gets the leadership quality and caliber way for make we continue for trust them, for make them push the business of this country go before. That was a private affair, but they brought it to the public for many people. They don't say, even within myself, we get to your wranglings, but we can still find ways and means how for address them. And I convinced say that's the way to go. In everything they do, whether it is within a political party or between the political parties them, when we get this kind of approach, we start with the negotiate with differences. And at the end of the day, we allow common sense for prevail and gets we for move forward. But probably one other thing I want for add into this conversation, and that's, I don't know, for Dr. Abbas Bundu, it just look like, say, anytime waiting for make him Speaker of Parliament, APC not they did it. And I'm not saying say no glad for that, but that's the reality that we are faced with. But there is an issue where when I've been raised earlier, where Dr. Silva, Robbie Mott there, and myself want to add something to that. The issue of solving with trust crisis that the country. And the one thing where we for make basic and paramount in everything they do, apart from the love we forget for one another, the concern we for show for one another, we come to the governance of the state, may we allow the laws them of the land for team up on top of everybody. So, it no matter now, me and Dr. Silva, who do you prefer? But if we do the right thing based on the law, it will help we all. So, you know, like Dr. Silva and Reverend Kagbo, you like. But as long as Dr. Silva they obey the law, you will also encourage Reverend Kagbo you like for making himself obey the law. When that they happen, it no matter who that you get preference for. It means say the country in business they go before. But what say they happen in the country? Because this person is saying I mean the support, I can even waive the law, allow the law for go aside. And what are we doing? We are creating unnecessary tension and problem for the country. So me no matter who say you did, whether you did a party A or party B, make sure say you obey the law. And nobody in whatever position, whether somebody like you or not, you not for undermine the law for that particular person. Let me give a personal example. When I go to my class for lecture, you go ask all the students who don't pass through me. My first class, there is one thing I tell my students. I have not come to assess the relationship that I have with you. I have come to assess your performance. If perchance, God forbid, you cost me mama, then you score 100%, that is what you get. But if you are my best friend, you even give me the best gift, and you score 0, that is what you get. Because in that classroom, what do I assess? It's your performance. And in the context of the state, it is about the rule of law. So it no matter which side this person, whether this person supports you or not, as long as that person they obey the law, for me, that's my man. That's my woman. That's the best person for me. And that's the way we should go in this country. We encourage everybody, whether there is a divide or not, let the law be supreme. When it happens, we make progress. We admire other countries then. We talk about the systems and the structures. Not so they say not get their own challenge, but then they make sure say, it no matter who they involved, the law is there on top of everybody. So if one policeman self make a mistake or he do something deliberate where people go interpret as discrimination, then they make sure say the law deal with him. They not they begin say, well, when a white policeman, more or less him. If not a black policeman, you get half of things that can happen. But now the surface, what you go see, then they make sure say the law apply equally to everybody. Coming back home to the country for address this issue of trust. Now one way that they will feel say we can able for handle. Make sure say the law now we put above everything. So Phoebe and Samuel and come before me on a matter. We don't set down say 8 o'clock. Now every worker for come now AYV. Then something more put and say now Samuel Alec, but Samuel come 8:30. Then Phoebe come 8 o'clock, but something else don't happen. I say because I don't like to be in business, I go ignore the fact that Samuel come 8:30. No, when we begin tell people and say, okay, yes, young man, I like your business, I appreciate the friendship we'll get, but you don't broke the law. We go see how we improve trust of the country. But how will they do them? Monkey by party, pigeon by peer. Now we don't dip them over time. And it creates a lot of problems, suspicion, they continue for day. But let's also face it. Who that then are the people them? We don't put you in this quagmire. I know they say other people don't get responsibility. Yes, everybody for take responsibility. But we're very politicians them. See they this one day in charge, the police them, the judiciary, every other outfit, is okay for them. They exit, other person can, the same person with the opposers, that then people and they, we Canada, they embrace. Why do we not look for a situation whose side we will make sure say change day, and then we solve the problem by the law? And make I bring one other aspect into this conversation. You see, when we not get a period of transition, where as then say they don't elect this person, the next moment are for swearing in. Beaucoup of the things that will happen, so what they say, it will not take place. Because the person, the moment they swear in, what you remember now for say, let's move the country forward. If we get to that position, we will get a transitional law. Where, for instance, in America, the whole election, November, I think is it the last Tuesday of November. By January 20th, they're not saying at that time they inaugurate president and do every other thing. You get certain other things that will happen when they try for address in between. But we, Salone, as the announced president today say you don't win, the next moment the Chief Justice don't can say, take this out of office. Now we get that breather, that space inside, we get a president-elect. And it is after things that will come up, we're going to address them over that 1 or 2 month period in the game. But we own situation is automatic. Of course, somebody will tell you, say, get historical antecedent from that 67 period,
right,
where that could take place. All of what's going to happen now, if you will come to the one-party state, moving into multi-party democracy, we say now automatic. But make we allow a situation so we get a breather where the next person say before they come in, they go for study the situation. It gives time to some people and say, "More able for investigate what don't go wrong," and so you get opportunity for make healing take place. Okay. But how we country there now, the healing process not even starts, and they say more move on.
Continue for us still with me. We'll come to Dr. Charles River quickly, but let me just quickly join Joseph Johnson with the outside of Parliament for gauge the atmosphere, for tell you exactly how the environment is like at the moment. Joseph, good morning. Just describe for me how Parliament look like, especially the outside at this moment. That's not how the environments look like outside of Parliament at the moment. With woman Joseph Johnson with the outside and Amadou Lamranaba in the chamber. So let me quickly join Amadou Lamranaba and see what's in the happen inside the chamber.
All right. Well, we still prepare for the 10 a.m. We're in a few minutes away for the sessions, excuse me, for the oath-taking process for the elected members of the 6th Parliament start. And before that day starts, we need to wrap up with we guests then at the studio and round up the conversation. Reverend, just before we left from NCD, what's in go be on your own continued actions then for promote democracy?
Looking forward to the support we expect for GET. We want for even hold a national consultative dialogue forum where we will bring again all stakeholders from right across the country. And they look for support from sister institutions for make sure they will get that done. And we want for use this opportunity for appeal to every Sierra Leonean. Now this one again Salone we get. Family self can get the differences, but make sure say we not allow a different system for tear we apart. More we remain united. And above all, more keep the peace and maintain the law. As we do that, God will bless we all.
Thank you very much, Reverend. And Dr. Silva, as we head now, from even the comment section, the anticipation for some people now green, we can see today on a green and red. As we day in this, waiting will be you closing courtesy to the audience.
Yeah, thank you so much. Not on green and red. Parliament actually not get color. Parliament are the people's forum. Perhaps some of the mistakes in that. Me on last word, two things we get for no. Let not they accumulate we notes them too much. You know, be say when election done, AYB self, then no go. That will follow up. We will become more proactive as a people. Now that means they can create institutions. Who that the agriculture constantly engage the populace about the agricultural programs and we get at hand. Education. We got a whole Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. Some of them things they how they discuss you now. NCD we sit on here. APRM, yes, we now get some stereotype approach because we know we are in quasi national institutions. We they work in conjunction with that. So even Reverend will tell me, so we'll go back to the drawing board. That will not be crisis managers. That will project into the future. So I will be the same that this country have peace studies, possibly what things get for doing, and now we don't know irrelevance. Let will not wait until things go bad. Let we start right there. We don't not wait until the energy issue become crisis. Now the only way we will help out. My last talk to parliamentarians, the one that they currently waiting, they are wait for take the oath, and then ones that we get for come in the very not too long future. Let we all know. So one at the end of that house, they not to party politics make una good day. Now people they elect now. Now that's make president of Sierra Leone, President Bio, former president, President Nkrumah, President Kabade. No one day reshuffle parliament anywhere in the world. President they appoint or nominate ministers, but you know they nominate parliamentarians. Now people then they elect now. So when I therefore no say when a loyalty this time around, once you become a parliamentarian, we therefore draw the line between the loyalty to the political party and the loyalty to the people. So at the still continue like we don't start. We still talk to the parliamentarians, then APC or any other parliamentarian or any other elected official we get grievances. Now we take them for instance, all of this by the grace of God, we get for end up with laws. Then same laws, then they get for go parliament for address some of the issues, then we don't bring we can here. So when I not get for the day again for even find solution. So 2028 back now the same thing we will do. So as I've been start this time around now, not to blame game. Brothers and sisters, let we all see reason. We have a country to protect. We get for engage with speed gear as a country. For let we catch up with other countries then. So we say for the think of going to the moon. Now Ghana is now thinking of going to space. We then today 2028 we not for the talk about rest. We will be talking about other condiments.
Thank you very much, Dr. Charles Silva, head for the African Peer Review Mechanism, and also a political scientist from Frabe College, one of the 3 constituent colleges of the University of Sierra Leone. Reverend Jibril Akabo, the Director of Communications from the National Commission for Democracy. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure having all two here this morning for helping shape the conversation.
We're prepare now for head to Parliament, and as it stands, except if there is any new information from the APC during the course of this discussion, we will not been see, but APC being still maintaining position, say they not go participate. But we don't see Honorable Mohammed Bangura now. We don't talk to we this morning, say in they go Parliament and they go taking oath, but also mention say get court case from previous parliament. So they go court, then they go parliament. So we all they look forward for see what the parliament get for look like today as the elected members of the 6th parliament they go forward.